Financial Daddy and investment life bring you freedom of financial.
Hey, if you're feeling impatient, it's okay to wait another week or two. It's not too late. Once the market stabilizes, we can buy in then. It won't be too late. That's because the possibility of the trade war escalating into a US-China Cold War is increasing. Today, the US Secretary of Commerce is unwilling to ease up and even claims that China wants to drag the world into an economic recession. China's attitude is completely unyielding, and basically they're saying that if the US doesn't take the first step to ease up, they'll go all the way and match them move for move. So looking at the overall situation, there's still a significant level of risk. In fact, as time goes on, the US-China Cold War may have already begun. Everyone should patiently wait for further updates before making any decisions. Today, even stocks like NVIDIA aren't performing well in terms of capital flow and market action. In this kind of situation, don't rush into the market recklessly. Alright, today the significant topic I genuinely want to talk about is how exactly can you become truly invincible in the highly competitive stock market. In actual fact, many people have been diligently searching for consistent success in the stock market for numerous years, but in the very end, they unfortunately end up with absolutely nothing. That is to say, they just simply can't manage to make a consistent profit. Why is that? To become invincible in the stock market, the first thing you need to do is follow the trend. That is, go with the overall direction. So what do we mean by the overall direction? The overall direction is like the changing of the seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. It's all about playing according to the season. It's very hard to reverse, just like the Earth's rotation and the changing of the seasons, unless there's some massive external force like an alien invasion or a giant meteor hitting the Earth. Only then could these major trends be changed. When we say an unstoppable trend, it means something that's very hard to alter. It's just like when you know spring has arrived. You can wear lighter clothes when spring comes, and when winter arrives, you need to prepare more food and dress more warmly. Actually, as long as you arrange your life according to the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, your life won't encounter too many obstacles. This is actually common sense for many people. But why is it that so many people can't do it? Why can't many people take advantage of the times to make money? In fact, there are many examples of making money by leveraging the trends, such as the rise of computers in the 1990s. Microsoft stood out from the rest, and from Windows 3.1 to its later versions, they all became hugely popular. If you knew that Microsoft would dominate the computer market's operating systems, why is it that so many people can't hold on all the way? Why would people give up on Microsoft and go buy other stocks? Similarly, during the internet boom of 2000, Google's stock price kept climbing, so why couldn't people hold on to it for the long term? At the very least, you should have held Google until 2010. After that, with the rise of smartphones, why couldn't people hold on to Apple? Why not keep buying Apple like Buffett did? Actually, a lot of people are aware of the trends, the AI era, the internet era, all kinds of trends. Many people know about them, but most people just can't go with the flow. Why is that? There are several reasons. First, greed. They want to get rich overnight, like using leverage to speculate on Bitcoin. With 10 times leverage, if the price drops just 10%, your position gets liquidated. That happened just a few days ago. When the crypto market crashes, a lot of people get margin called and have their positions liquidated. There are also people who think they're stock market experts, believing they can buy low and sell high as stocks go up and down. They think they can always buy at the bottom when prices fall and sell at the very top when prices rise. Why not just hold for the long term? Some people switch to buying other stocks thinking they can catch the lowest point. But the problem is, after you sell, the stock keeps going up and up until you're too afraid to buy it back. Eventually, when it gets too expensive, you don't want to buy it anymore. There are also people who get scared of looking at stocks when prices drop. When the market drops sharply, people panic and don't dare to buy anymore, especially during a recession. When the stock market falls, they stay away from it and eventually they never return. In fact, the main reason you can't go with the trend is mostly psychological, like fear, greed, or other emotional factors that prevent you from following the market. Of course, in the end, you'll end up with nothing, or even worse, you'll go against the trend. For example, nowadays, everyone knows that content creation is done with AI, so how many people are still using Adobe? In the end, you might not even need PDFs anymore. A computer-generated document is all it takes. You don't need to use Adobe's format anymore. You can open PDFs with Google or use other tools to open or directly generate new formats. So why still use Adobe? That's why Adobe is actually a sunset company with little hope left. But some people are still holding on to hope, and that's what it means to go against the trend. So how can you avoid going against the trend? It's by going with the flow. In fact, going with the flow is the key to success. As I mentioned earlier, the reason you can't do it is because of psychological issues. So what makes your psychological issues worse? These problems are actually because of you. The main reason you're afraid of holding stocks is that you don't understand the company you own. Maybe you bought that company just because you heard someone else say it was good. Someone says Tesla is great, so you buy Tesla. Someone says NVIDIA is good, so you buy NVIDIA. But you don't actually understand how that company is developing at all. If you don't understand something and just blindly follow the crowd, of course you'll feel anxious and scared. If the stock price drops and you don't really understand the company, of course you'll panic and sell. But if you truly understand that company, its operations, revenue, future strategies, and have your own unique analysis of the market situation, then you won't panic. Of course, you also need to use certain strategies, such as dollar cost averaging when buying stocks. If you buy too much all at once, and you happen to buy during a market correction when there are irrational fluctuations, you might run out of money to buy more, or you won't be able to average out your costs, which would be unfavorable for your investment. So, what's the most important thing in investing? The most important thing is to understand the company you're investing in. If you don't understand it, then don't invest. You shouldn't invest in a company you don't understand. You also need to go with the trend. Choose a company that truly adapts to the times, one with continuous growth and unlimited potential for improvement in the future. Once you've invested in such a company, once you've bought in, just hold it for the long term. In the end, the returns can be quite substantial, of course. How to choose those companies is an art in itself. Next time, I'll talk about how to select outstanding ones.
Please subscribe and follow New York Daddy Investment.